guys. And so Glen, I just remember starting in 1990. Glen is the one that actually got me into the league. I was a regional manager in a medical firm, and I was making my trip over to see my rep in Hawaii. And the rep in Hawaii said, "You better bring some snorkel here because we're going to be snorkeling from 2 to 6 in the afternoon." And I went, "That's not a work day, I won't do it." He says, "We work from 6 to 2, and then we go back to work at 6 at night until 9 at night." I said, "I can do that." So I'm at Copeland Sports Store looking at snorkeling gear, and a guy grabs him by the neck. It happens to be Glen Wolff, and he said, "Hey, we've been trying to get you in this league for me and Lowell Palmer for about 5 years. If you come out and take batting practice once with us, no obligations, no commitment, I'll give you 60% off of that snorkel gear." So I walked out with a pretty good deal on snorkel gear. And of course, I took one swing in the cage and I was hooked, and I've been there ever since. So I owe that to Glen Wolff. Glen, I realize now, after I interviewed him a few months ago, I realize now why he was so competitive and intense. He grew up in the Bronx, so obviously he's probably a New York fan back in those days. Then he moved to Carmichael area. Okay, I borrowed these cheater glasses from Gonzarasi, so they're a little bit different mine. But he moved to Carmichael and graduated from Hiram Johnson in 1965. He was on the center fielder on the Metro League All-Star team and selected All-City as a center fielder. Played at Sac City for 1 year in 1966, and then after that, during the Vietnam era, he went into signed up for the U.S. Navy, which he spent a few years there. When he came back out of the Navy, he rejoined the Sac City team and was named All-Conference center fielder in 1972. From that point on, he went to dive school. He always told me about his diving stuff. He went to dive school and worked in the offshore oil industry, and then the first opening for one of the dream shops came open in the mid-70s. For 3 years, he worked with the Sacramento Solons. From there, he got a job with the San Jose Earthquakes. He worked for a lot of these professional teams, so those of you that don't know Glen, is quite a background he's got. He worked for the San Jose Earthquakes for a couple of years until he got the real dream job he was looking for, and he got the stadium operations director for the Fresno Giants, the San Francisco Giants AAA team. That was what he was going for. So he did that for a number of years. He started playing MSBL. Well, he was there when I started in 1990, so I don't know if I think he started in 89 if I remember right. But he played alongside Lowell Palmer and Jim Prizmich and Bobby Alonso, Mike Baldwin, guys like that. Glen was always a leadoff hitter, always got on base, always started things off. And he made one comment to me recently when I was interviewing. He said, "I love being leadoff on that team and eventually on the World Series team that Lou had, because everyone behind me just hit the shit out of the ball and I'd score every time." So that was his pleasure of being a runner on the base as much as he can. But he played for the A's for quite a few years, and then he was an outfielder for the Sacramento Stars team in Phoenix, for Lou's team. They won championship 3 straight times. And during those years, he hit over 400 most of those years. So all these numbers that I'm spurting out here helped the board make the decision to bring Glen in as a new inductee. So the year 2014, I'm not going to introduce him, and I'll explain that in a bit, but we'd like to introduce or accept him into our Hall of Famer for the Men's Senior Baseball League. Glen's not able to be here tonight. Lowell Palmer was going to come and accept his award for him, but Lowell just had injections in his back, not doing real well, so he's down. So I'm going to accept it for him. And Glen just said, I went over Monday to ask him if he would come. And just a little background on Glen real quick. He was in a very severe, a number of years ago, very severe cement truck accident where you guys know how heavy cement trucks are. He rolled a few times in the cement truck. He lived through it, thank goodness, but he also suffered a lot of brain trauma. And to this day, he can't recall any of the guys he played with. He has no memory on that part of it. So a couple of his friends took him to LaSalle Hall of Fame dinner a few years ago, and he had to leave within a half an hour because everyone that remembered Glen kept coming up and patting him and hugging him, and it scared Glen because he didn't know who any of them were. It would be like us going to Boston and everyone come up and start hugging us. we wouldn't feel very safe. So Glen opted out coming, and I just said I can't handle it. And he can't stand up any more than like 3 minutes at a time. Part of the brain thing, he's lost his appetite. He hardly ever eats. He's down to 92 pounds right now. But he sends his wishes, and all he said was, it was a real honor. Tell everyone there that remembers me, it was a real honor to play with them, to play for the managers, to help win championships, and run my legs off whenever a guy hit one to the fence. So, Glen Wolff, we're here for you. We congratulate you.